Greetings, Earthians. It is time once again to turn your mental energies toward the infinity of the speed of thought. Travel beyond the edge of the known into the realm of weird science fantasy. Earth and her solar system and 100 other solar systems and 4 galaxies were far behind. Outside, the stars were needle points of fire in an endless sea of nothingness. Yet the ship drove on, as it had been driving on for months. At first the crew had been eager, interested, but now as the voice of the man on scanner watch blared from the intercoms, the crew members barely stirred.
Earth-type planet, dead ahead.
Another one? Nuts. What'll we find? Nothing? Ruins? Nothing but ruins? Just like we found on dozens of other Earth-type smashed planets? Who cares why a bunch of hairy goons with tails committed suicide anyway? Okay, so they were smart, scientifically advanced. So what?
So our job is to find out why they wiped themselves out, without griping about it, Keel. Let's go, on the double, take your stations, we're going in. Lieutenant Robert Saunders turned on his heels and made his way jauntily through the ship. At the door to the control room, he patted a tiny crease from his already immaculate uniform and stepped inside. Your orders, Captain.
Orders? You know what to do. This isn't our first planet fall, Saunders. Relax. We don't need that much spit and polish.
Lieutenant Saunders stiffened. We're a cruiser of Earth's space fleet, sir. We have a tradition to maintain.
I know, Saunders, I know. I graduated from the academy, too. Mankind is nature's ultimate achievement. We must remember our dignity, eh?
Exactly, sir.
And yet, look at the screen, Saunders. The race that built that city had a technology infinitely beyond ours. Hundreds of thousands of years before us.
The race that built that city also destroyed it, Captain. They destroyed themselves because they were afraid.
Which indicates a basic flaw in their race, Saunders? They were cowards. We aren't. There's no room for cowardice in our race, eh?
The captain sighed and turned away. Once he, too, had felt as Saunders did. But that had been a long time ago. He'd been a junior officer then, like Saunders. That was back when the Ranger, Earth's first rocket ship to leave the solar system, had stumbled upon one of their cities. The city had stretched for miles over that Earth-type planet's terrain, a huge, incredibly old graveyard. It was as if a giant hand had crushed it flat. Yet, even so, in its ruined state, it had been an awesome sight. And then they'd found the plaque.
Ugly devils, weren't they? Yet they must have been far advanced to be able to build something like this.
What do you suppose happened, sir? War?
I don't know. That's for the text to figure out. Let's get going, Lieutenant. Let's find them something to work with.
Brave words. The search parties had gone out, but they'd found nothing. No books, no records, just emptiness. No one had understood, and after a while there'd been other solar systems with other planets and other ruins.
Gentlemen, the evidence is overwhelming.
And the scientific brains on Earth had concluded.
Ruins have now been found on a dozen planets in as many solar systems. All identical, all blasted. The scale of destruction suggests an interplanetary war. Yet we all know war leaves records, even if only in fragments. Logic leaves us no choice then. Only a race bent on self-destruction could have obliterated itself so completely. It was a race, a suicide.
But why? Why? Earth's mightiest intellects had struggled with the problem and found no answer. And the search for the answer had gone on, from solar system to solar system, across the galaxy, until now. We're down, sir.
Order the exploring party to report to the hatch, Saunders.
Wearily, the crew climbed into harness. They'd done this so many times before. They fanned out, moving toward the towering ruins. The men went slowly, sweating and cursing, but Saunders ranged ahead, eagerly striding along the long-dead roadway like a proud conqueror. And so it was that he was alone when he topped the rise. No, it's impossible.
Saunders, what is it?
Look, sir. The building lay in a little cup-shaped hollow, untouched. A small building, eons old, yet with its alloy walls intact. Dead, yet alien. Frightening. Not even a scratch on it, sir. Aren't we going inside? What are we waiting for?
I'm not quite certain, Lieutenant. I can't help being a little afraid.
Afraid, sir? You don't mean that.
I do mean it, Saunders.
The captain stared at the door of the building, which stood slightly ajar.
I don't quite share your confidence in the ultra-superiority of man, Saunders. We'll go in, but with weapons alert. Ready, men?
The captain hesitated, then kicked open the metal door. Why, it looks like a schoolroom.
We'll wonder about that later. I want every inch of this place gone over with a fine-toothed comb. There just might be life here.
But there was no life. There was just the dust of ages, clinging to the ancient alloys.
One building standing out of all that. I wonder.
This building sits in a hollow. Just suppose that the destruction of the city came from an attacking ship low on the horizon.
Its weapons would level the city, but the building would be protected by that rise. Of course.
But an attacking ship implies war, Captain. I thought war had been ruled out.
Captain, this was in a sort of closet. It's a machine of some kind.
The weird machine and the metal disc they'd found was examined by the curious Earthmen. They placed it on the platform before the metal seats.
Ever seen anything like it, Saunders?
No, sir. But this slot, it seems to have been made to receive this disc. The disc slid easily into place, and somewhere within the bowels of the alien machine there was a click. A soft whir. Captain!
Good Lord.
The hairy, lizard-headed, tailed creature stood on the platform, menacingly. The men shouted, backing off, pouring the destructive force of their weapons at it. The creature seemed to ignore the Holocaust being rained upon it. It started to speak, calmly.
Your Nigvansa, Grimoravix. Agree now?
It doesn't fall.
No, of course not. Hold fire, men. Saunders, get that disc out of the machine. Don't you see?
Saunders stumbled through the smoke and yanked the disc.
It's gone. Vanished. Yes, it isn't hard to figure out. What we saw was a three-dimensional projection. The disc is some kind of record. Inserted into the slot, it activates the machine. The building resembles a school. Perhaps it was a school with machines for teachers. Machines that produce oral and visual images.
And somehow this one wasn't destroyed. This
This could hold the key. The answer.
Carefully, tenderly, the machine was carried back to the ship. The lassitude, the boredom was suddenly gone. The crew was taut, excited, eager, as they had not been for months. All set, sir. She's hooked up to our automatic translator. We'll be able to understand every word now.
Not we, Lieutenant. Just I.
But, sir...
Just I, Lieutenant. After I've heard what's recorded on this disc, I'll decide whether or not the crew should also hear it. Dismissed.
Saunders was peeved and disappointed, but there was sense to the captain's decision. Who knew what the recording might reveal? So Saunders returned to his quarters and waited.
Now hear this. Lieutenant Saunders, please report to the captain's quarters. Lieutenant Saunders, please
The captain was sitting down, staring off into space as Saunders came in. He was silent, his eyes bleak. Sir, are you all right? You look ill. I can understand it. That projection is rather nauseating, isn't it?
Huh? Nauseating? Yes, I suppose it is, in a way. Sit down, Saunders. We were almost right, Lieutenant. That building wasn't a school, though. It was you might call it a lecture hall. The recording is a lecture, a sort of briefing. I thought you might want to hear it.
I certainly would, Captain. Bring on your boogeyman.
Not a boogeyman, Saunders. Just a creature addressing a group of its fellow creatures for the last time.
The captain dimmed the lights and inserted the disc. The hideous alien appeared.
Greetings. I speak to you from the beyond. When you hear my voice, I shall be already dead by my own hand, as will most of our race. But you are the chosen ones. You will fly the ships that will obliterate the remaining vestiges of our civilization. You will destroy everything, everyone left alive, every building now standing.
And these are the things that some people thought were superior to man.
We of the Council know how horrible this thought must seem. To destroy is foreign to you. Therefore, listen well. Our race is old, and age, though it brings wisdoms, also brings with it disease and sickness. As I speak, our race is falling prey to a disease for which there is no cure. Deterioration, moral decay. It began on Planet 5, Solar System 118, Galaxy 25. One of us struck another in anger. For the first time in eons, there was violence among us. On other planets, in other solar systems, it happened again and again. In the end, there was even, I shudder at the word, killing. And so we of the Council took action. Our scientists studied the problem. All of you know the answer they found.
The proof is indisputable. We have charted all of the probabilities. There will be more violence, more deterioration, and in the end, a kind of horror.
And there is no escape? No margin for error?
None. Our race has reached its evolutionary peak. Now there must be the decline. As we have climbed to our present development, So now we must go backward down the evolutionary ladder. One day our descendants will be as beasts. Then perhaps they shall once more begin to evolve.
But into creatures of horror. All of you recall those days. The creeping disgust. The way we cringed at our race's fate. And finally, the Council's decision. The only one they could make.
The race must die. Better that we wipe our line from the face of the universe than that we become what we must become.
And you recall how we chose death, as with one voice. All of us, except those few already tainted with decay, who demanded an audience with the Council.
Then you wish to live, even knowing what will one day be? We wish to live.
Those few were spared. But to permit them to go on as they were would have defeated our purpose. Life was one thing, knowledge was another. At least, perhaps, the rate of decay might be slowed. Their minds were wiped clean so that they would not use their knowledge for evil. They were taken to an unsettled planet in the 10th galaxy and left there. Brainless hulks, fitted only to breed and survive. You who are the chosen, your council knows only too well that you must be nerved for your task of destruction. You want to feel sure that what you are doing is right.
See, Captain, I was right. They were afraid. Superior my foot. They took the easy way out.
And so we have prepared a projection of the ultimate end. The final de-evolution of our race. It is only right that you should see the horror which would have one day used our wisdom for its own bestial purposes. It is only right that you see the vile end product itself, so that you will know that you do not destroy or die in vain.
Okay, Buster. Bring on your horrible monster.
It will be a biped like yourselves, tailless, with a tiny brain case, which will bar it forever from reaching the pinnacle of culture we have reached. It will be a destructive creature, violent.
Pretty good pep talk, eh, Captain? Almost scares me.
Greedy, without pity, maiming, killing, warring, destroying. It will look like this.
The other image appeared suddenly. It stood dumbly beside its ancestor. And all at once, Saunders' arrogance was gone, dropping away like a cloak forever.
And it will call itself man.
Good Lord.
Yes, Saunders. Man is the de-evolution, the deterioration of that creature. We are the descendants of that little band of them that refused to destroy themselves. It was Earth they were taken to.
Once again, we return you to your pre-scheduled mundanity.